Hello, everybody. Thank you. Thank you this week for getting in report one. That should feel like a really big achievement to you. It is. It can also be the basis of your third assignment, looking at resolution and resolution techniques if you decide to use that. So that's already some of the work done, which I think should make assignment number 3 a lot easier. So already this week, other than looking at misperceptions around conflicts, we're straight into assignment number 2. And obviously some of the goals by the 20th of April is that you personally choose 2 creative pieces, a 50 to 100 word summary as to how that relates to the theme or conflict that your team has chosen. You should have some references. That all gets put together in the end, and someone posts that collection in the A2 virtual collection submission thread, and there is a thread there because part 2 means you're all going to go in and comment on each other's. So not only do you then nominate someone to post it in that thread, but someone also has to come up with a prompt question, and another person again has to post a summary of your team discussions in Turnitin. Okay, so there's a few things that you have to nominate people for, and there's a couple of things that you personally have to make sure you do as your contribution. So good luck. So all of that is the part that's due by the 20th of April, and that's also before we go on consolidation week. Yay, week off. So it's not onerous, but there are just little bits and pieces. I have also put a kind of question and A in the assignment 2 Q&A thread if you want any more clarification. But what I've just told you there is essentially it for the 20th of April. Okay, and then we'll worry about part 2 later, but it'll involve you commenting on other people's threads, basically. Okay, so that's assignment number 2. Now this week we started to look at framing, actually. Not that that was specifically part of the exercises, but we started to talk about it a bit this week. How does framing affect people's perceptions of conflict? Can reframing actually help and change it? And I even put 2 pictures around the theme of asylum seekers there on the post, suggesting that they tell very different stories about the government, about asylum seekers. You know, what kind of images does it prompt, what kind of thoughts, and what sort of narrative goes with it. So these are some of the concepts that you could be thinking about, not only for assignment number 3 on conflict resolution, but also you could be thinking about it in terms of your virtual collection assignment number 2. If you're struggling to think, oh, what pictures, what kind of multimedia do I come up with, think that visual pieces, multimedia, etc., narratives, they're all a type of framing. Like I said, they tell us a story. They have a very particular slant on it. You listen to Galtung this week, hopefully. He's the father of peace and conflict studies. He himself has a very specific type of framing. And yes, peace and conflict studies as a discipline was based on or started by Galtung, but it doesn't mean that there aren't disagreements or questions or challenges to his framing. And when you come up to assignment number 3 and it's more essay form, we'll be wanting to see you, argue a few points and use a few different types of scholars in there and settle somehow on your own thread, your own story. So best of luck. I hope that assignment number 2 and your teamwork is going smoothly for you. I don't get too involved because I don't, I'm marking, so I can't get too involved in guiding discussions, but certainly if you have enormous team issues, do flag it with me. But from what I'm seeing so far, it seems pretty straightforward. So have a good weekend, everybody, and I will see you next week.